2, 1.
Well, we're here with Nikki Creel, and we're just about to create a set of videos for you on social selling.
Yeah.
And mainly because Nikki's written a new book.
I know, should I lift some up?
Well, let's start with the book immediately. I love it.
I know, well, we've got to get my book in somehow. We're doing Facebook Live on both my profiles. Say hi to everybody. I'm sorry, I can't see it. We've got somebody behind the scenes, Henry. Say hello.
Henry is here managing the pages and getting everything going.
So he's actually dealing with two mobiles at the same time.
At exactly the same time. And the thought of doing these videos is a lot of Nikkis Audience is all about helping people to convert conversations to customers.
Yeah.
And our audience is all about starting businesses, finding customers and making sales. So what we want to do today is to give you some tips on how to use Twitter, LinkedIn and different social platforms to build your business and make sales. That's the plan, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, so Nikki, what are the 5 main areas of your book that people need to consider when they're creating social sales?
Well, I've divided the book into 5. The first one is attract. You want to attract the right people to you. And you do that by optimizing your profiles and by producing the right content, or content that gets the customer at the right moment. So something that they're interested in, something that's value of them.
So how do you optimize your profile?
Both LinkedIn, there's like step-by-step things you can do, both for LinkedIn and Twitter, or on Facebook you need to make sure that your privacy settings are set properly, so that if you do have something peculiar that you do in your part-time that people, business people can't find it. So you need to be aware of what is out in the public arena about you. So, for example, on Twitter, it's simpler because there's the banner that you have behind your Twitter profile, and then you've got your bio, which is probably the most important part in terms of, because that is what people will decide whether they're going to follow you or not, or interact with you or not. And you want to have a nice picture, and I always say it's best to do it as a person rather than in a business. Obviously, sometimes it's appropriate to do it as a business if there are a number of people, doing it, but people want to get to know people. So letting people know who you are is really important.
Okay, so we've got a decent picture. We've worked on some text for the bio. We've got a headline image.
Yeah.
We've optimized our profile.
Yeah.
What about the content?
The content, well, obviously your tweets are important. This is on Twitter. So it's actually thinking about what people is useful for other people. What content would they be interested in paying attention to? What interests them? So it's not all about you. It's about what's interesting for the other person.
Yes.
And the ideal customer. What questions are they asking? What you can do to be helpful, and how you can build relationships with people through the content that you build and that you post. And obviously LinkedIn, you've got a little bit more structure in terms of filling out all the parts and making sure you have a friendly photograph that makes you look approachable. It's scary how many people have got at least 2 people in a picture and you don't know who you're talking to, or how many people have got a dated picture or a picture that's very, very casual and not necessarily appropriate for LinkedIn. And there's certain ways, like in LinkedIn, your headline is your key selling point.
Yes.
Okay. So that's how you attract people, by when people find you, to help people to find you, and when they find you, not to put them off from doing business.
Yes. So you've got to find them and then not put them off and get them into conversation.
Yeah. So obviously keywords help. It's like, because people are looking for keywords, you want to be found for the right reasons, for the right keywords, but also your content will help you to get found.
So where do you stick these keywords?
On LinkedIn, you put them into your headline. You'd be putting them throughout your summary, through your your title, your experience. So you'd feed it throughout without keyword stuffing. I think that it's fairly obvious that people just put in keywords for the sake of being keywords. But quite often you things are so generic that you forget to actually mention that certain words because you think they're too obvious. So you've got to think about if somebody were looking for you, so if your ideal customer were looking for you, what are the words that they would use to find you? So it's not industry jargon, it's what the people you want to work with would use. How do they describe what you do, and what are they interested in? So that's the attract part.
That's the attract part.
I was going to say we've got 4 other parts.
We have got 4 more parts. So number 1, attract customers to you by optimizing the profile and putting out great content.
And then 2, it's discover. So this is being proactive about going out and finding people that are your ideal customers, and discover through searching. So finding people on using LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is a very powerful database to help you to find people. Twitter is also really, really good for search, and things like listening as well.
Yes.
Because lots of people don't listen to any conversations. So we are just looking at some of the comments being made. Yes, it's interesting. Yes, sorry, getting distracted by that. So we're discovering listening. Lots of people only broadcast on social media, so they just see it as a tool to
Shout
at people, and they forget that people are having conversations, people are talking about things. You can find out about your customers, what their needs, what they require. And I know we're going to create one of the videos we're going to create on stalking, how to stalk your customers.
a bit of healthy stalking, Henry.
So we're going to create some videos about doing the search.
Yes.
Doing search. And then the third part is nurturing. So once you've found people, you actually want to look after them until they're ready to buy.
Yes.
Because not everybody will buy from you the minute that they come in contact with you. Great if they do. That's brilliant. Would love it to happen all the time, but it doesn't happen that way.
No, you have to get to know them, you have to create a connection, a relationship, build rapport, and over time you take people towards sale. If you try and rush into quickly and just say, buy my stuff.
I think that's the problem, is that a lot of people go straight in and go, buy my stuff, and then go, why is it not working? Sometimes it will work, sometimes you'll get somebody exactly at the right time, but mostly people will do business with people, and it's so cliche, but know that like and trust, and it's building up that trust factor, and that generally doesn't happen straight away. No. And then we move on to converting.
Yes, it's all very well making friends.
I know, it's like if you're going to spend a lot of time on social media for business, then you don't just want to be chatting with people all the time. You actually want to have a business focus, and at some point you need to take people offline. So it's like making that conversation, having an actual conversation with somebody.
An actual conversation? What you mean by the phone?
Talking. Yes, phoning, face-to-face Skype, but where you can actually really connect with somebody. Because people, that's how most business gets done, and the real face-to-face things rather than necessarily online and people typing. So
especially the bigger the value your sale is. So if you're selling something that's worth £1,000, people want to have actually spoken to you before they'll buy it.
Yeah, most people do.
Most people, yes.
It would be nice. It'd be really nice if you could just go.
If your sale was for a £5 item, then it might well happen just online.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But the larger the value of your item is, the more likely they are to actually want to have spoken to you physically first.
Okay, and we in some of the stalking of customers, we're going to talk about why it's important to stalk your customers.
Yes. So what are the tips on converting people? So we've attracted them to our profile, we've gone out and listened to them, we've nurtured some relationships. How do we convert a relationship to a sale?
Okay, I think the important thing is if you've done it right and you've actually got a relationship with somebody, then it doesn't feel like a sales call. It feels as though you are helping them because invariably they've got a need, and so you want them to help them to solve their problem, because ultimately that's what a lot of business is. You're actually providing a solution for a problem.
Mohammed Anas says hi on your stream.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
So we've got all these chats. Hello. Great. Okay. Oh yes. Hi, Reg Wilson. We sort of like.
He says he needs to order the book today to stay up to date. Yes, you do. Yeah. You can get the top tips here, but there's a lot more in the book than we can chat about in a 10-minute online video.
Yeah, I think if I had to read this would take a little bit of time to read the whole thing out loud. So,
yes. Yeah. So top tips on how to convert.
Right. Firstly, take it offline. Okay. So rather than trying to keep all the conversation online, it may happen online, but invariably you need to have a more personal connection with somebody. So sometimes it happens in direct messages on LinkedIn or on Twitter or private messages on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
But often it is having a face-to-face conversation or telephone conversation or a Skype conversation with people. Mm-hmm. And then it's a case of not going into the sale too quickly. It's actually asking questions, finding out what the problem is for the person and finding out what it is that they want. Because if you go in straight with, buy my product, you've done all this work to get to that phone call, and you can destroy it by going in too quickly. Often you don't know, you assume things. And what's that thing about us? So there's something like assume. It makes an ass
out of you and me.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and quite often we assume we know what the situation is.
But we don't actually know what a customer wants until we ask the question.
Yeah, exactly. And there's some great tips from Teresa in terms of sort of like having, I suppose, mini closes. So it's basically you're just going to try and get people to agree to the next step. So when you have a first conversation with people, the idea is not necessarily to sell to them, but maybe to have another meeting to discuss things, or that you're going to send them some information, etc. So that takes the pressure off from feeling salesy, that you don't have to sell in your first phone call with somebody.
And that's what makes it uncomfortable sometimes, is the feeling that you need to sell.
No, exactly. It's just a small step of just moving them further along the process.
So quite often we're looking to convert to an offline call or a private message, which then converts to a meeting, which then converts eventually to a sale after we've understood what they're looking for.
Yeah. I mean, it can happen within a phone call the first time people phone you, if you've done everything right. But quite often, like with a lot of your business that you do, you have lots of meetings, and quite often it might take a long period of time for it to actually happen.